Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our live webinar of e-immigration. My name is Vanessa Vargas. On behalf of Cerenade, I want to thank you for joining us today. Today, we're covering our last training of October. I can't believe it. It's almost November. So today is a basic training for new users, but even though it's a basic training for new users, I encourage existing clients that have any type of questions to message me and take advantage of this training. All right. This is being recorded. We keep the video available in our YouTube channel. It's called Cerenade Academy. We also have a PowerPoint presentation that you can download. If you click on the Go to Webinar handouts, you can download my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and we're gonna cover resources and support, just to show you how to get help. All right, so let's get started. One of the things that I wanted to mention before we begin the training, you probably have received a message when you log in into your site. If you are not the administrator, actually, let me go into the caseworker module. If you're not the administrator, contact your admin because we need to ensure that you follow some instructions. So please read this article and or share with your administrator. There is an urgent action required. This is not a spam. This is legit, and we need to comply in order for the system to continue working the way that it normally works. So again, follow the instructions. I'm not going to cover this right now because that's not the intention, but I do want to bring this up because a lot of clients have not yet complied. And next week, I'm telling you, next week you're gonna have a lot of error messages. So please, it's really easy. Just we have all the instructions here so that you can comply and authenticate your domain. But again, this is something that we all have to go through in order to avoid delivery disruption. All right, so that it's done. Let's continue. This is the content for today's training. Again, it's a basic training for new users. I'm gonna cover the basic 3 steps on how to create a contact, how to link members, and how to create cases. Also I'm gonna show you how to gather data either from the alternate view or the questionnaires and how the forms auto-populate. Next, we're going to talk about the tools and settings when you get to the forms and how to send those forms to the clients for review. Again, if you don't comply for that, domain authentication, you won't be able to send the form to your clients for review or even internally. Also, like a log, how to create a note, but if you want to share with your staff or share to yourself via email, again, this is all related. Same thing here, for example, gathering documents. If I want to send a client a documents checklist, anything that you need to send, either a form, log, document, checklist, a letter template specifically, even the document assembly, everything is all connected to your email anyway. So yeah, so make sure that you comply and follow the instructions for the domain authentication. Next, we're going to talk about creating reminders and how we can use the process steps, which, these are like the tasks or the timeline of the case, the workflow, and how the tickler, which is the general dashboard, can help you be more organized. Again, we will cover other areas of the system. I know some of you have sent questions specifically for like either billing or e-filing, I think. So we can talk about that. Just message me if you have any specific questions. All right, so before we begin, I do want to ask how many of you are actually brand new clients compared to existing clients, and this is more like a refresher course. Okay, I'm gonna close. It's funny because I got 50-50. That's actually pretty cool. I mean, like I said, if you have any questions, message me, and this is your training. It doesn't have to be just for new users. But let's begin with the three basic steps. You create a contact on the top left where it says create client contact. It could be a prospect, And when they retain you, of course, you can change the status to active. Or when they're done, you don't need to deal with that person anymore. You archive it. Now, this is where you enter the basic info and create an account. Notice that the system can help you auto-generate the number. That's something that you customize in the administrator portal. And when you create an account, it's going to look like this. Let me open one. This is the contact profile. And this is where you enter all the details. The way I see it, I guess I like analogies, and I've learned that this is kind of like the brain of the system. Think of like, okay, where the knowledge or the data comes from. Well, if I need the forms to auto-populate, I need to enter the information here. Even though you could type directly in the forms, it would defeat the purpose of using the system for many reasons. But again, the best practice or the best approach is create a contact, enter the data here, and there's two ways of doing that. Um, you can use the alternate view. The alternate view is, hold on, I'm trying to, there we go. The alternate view is over here on the top right, where you can access the questionnaires. So the system offers you questionnaires by default, like this one. Or you can create your own questionnaires. For example, I created this copy for biographic information, or like an initial intake form that has my logo, and it has specific questions like, how did you hear about the law firm? Are you tech savvy or not? Like, you prefer Spanish? Or so you can create your own questionnaires, even with specific documents that they need to upload. For example, here, is this the first time that you contact us? No, yes, or anyway. So the idea is that if you want, you can customize your own questionnaires. If you are an attorney or an organization that, if you're still sending an email to your clients with a PDF or a Word document, maybe you created a questionnaire and you're sharing that via email, it is a waste of time for both your clients and your staff. My recommendation is that you take advantage of the technology that you're paying for and create your own questionnaires, just the same way that you created them on Word, but now you're going to create them using our technology so that you can open that, use the information or type the information yourself, or send it to the clients. Now you can send these questionnaires with a passwordless link. So your clients can just open a text message, look at the questions, respond, send it back, and the benefit is that you just accept, and all the details that they typed, they're now in the system and they populate the forms. There's no need for your staff to retype the same information again. Okay. Now, we are not going to cover today how to create questionnaires, but I want you to know that we have done that already. And if you go to your YouTube account, search Cerenade Academy, and we have videos here. For example, Administrator Portal, or I think I have, mm, it's probably not updated, but we recently did training like this one. Even though this one was uploaded 5 months ago, I know we recently did a similar topic and it's going to be uploaded soon. But anyways, we have a lot of material in our Serenade Academy, or you can always contact us. But the idea is that, oops, the idea is that you can go into your admin. Let me open that in a new tab. So in the administrator portal, you are going to customize your questionnaires from here. Okay, again, we have the instructions, but I want you to know that it's really, really simple, and you can take maybe what, 15, 20 minutes of your day creating it, but it's going to save you hours of time of work. So it's worth it. Okay, so step one, create the contact, enter the data. You could enter the data also like this. Give me one second. As you know, we probably, um, let me put my out of the office or like do not disturb, which I forgot to do. I apologize, but it's been super crazy because all of our clients are calling us for that domain authentication. I think I'm gonna have nightmares with that DNS records already. But thank you so much for those that have already complied and verified their domain. Thank you so much. All right, so as I was saying, you could type directly on these fields. Just make sure that you click Save Changes, because if you don't and you switch to a different screen, when you come back, you lose that data. The other thing you can also check is like if I can't click on the Save Changes button, it means that there's nothing to save. So just make that a habit. Like before I switch, am I able to click? Then just click. That means that I have pending changes to save. So step one is creating the contact, entering data. Make sure that you also capture additional info, not just the basics, such as, you know, previous addresses or marriage history, employment history, even background check questions are here. So you can ask them like, I'm going to go over these questions with you. The idea is that you want to capture as much information as possible, even the picture you can upload, and then this information auto-populates the forms. So step number two is where when you link the members. So click on members and click here, link member. Most likely you won't have the family member in the system yet. So you need to create a contact, and it's the same process. You're going to enter their information. Probably not a client, so do not select client number, but still create a contact profile for them and select the relationship. This is a daughter, this is a spouse, joint sponsor, stepson, like, select the type of relationship and click link. And the reason why you want to do that is because when you get to the forms, if the form says children info, well, then whoever's son, daughter, stepson, it's going to transfer as well. Okay. So you can click on the name of the person. Let's say Andrew, he's Valeria's son. So if I click on Andrew's name, it opens another tab. And if I needed Andrew's information, I can just, capture within his profile. So it's kind of like a container. Think of it like a bucket. You need a bucket where you dump all this data. All right, so now that we have that, step three is creating the actual matter. This is not a case. Actually, look, I can have one client with multiple processes or multiple services or matters. So you want to create a case so that you can access the forms. Okay, you don't need to create multiple profiles for multiple matters. It's just one client or one contact profile in multiple cases. Now, this is the case wizard. This is where you create the case and select your location, the area of practice, the process. I'll say adjustment of status. All of these drop-down menus that you see here can be customized. Did you know that you can use eIMMIGRATION for non-immigration cases? So again, make sure that you take advantage of that because you can use it. We have clients that use it for um, family law, personal injury, so it's not just immigration. All of these drop-down menus you can customize from the administrator portal. Your info as the attorney will transfer to the forms if this box is checked. And then when you get to the case parties, we have already linked them as members, but it doesn't mean that they're part of the case. So Valeria is my client and she's a petitioner. I'm going to pick petitioner. But her husband, Michael, he is the beneficiary or alien. I actually prefer to use alien because the forms expect alien information. So to save myself a couple of clicks and time, just select alien. But it doesn't matter if you select beneficiary or other, or when you get to the forms, you're going to see a red button that says select party. And that's when you can click on the name of the person, regardless of the role, alien, beneficiary, or you could have like a derivative as well. Um, and for those other type of cases, plaintiff, defendant, guardian, depends on the situation. Here's a checklist. I could also add forms to my list. I can just add a form, or I can remove a form by just clicking select delete. Okay. I'm going to create my case and let me know if you have any questions. Actually, were these three basic steps clear, or do you need any explanation? I have a poll in progress, so I want to make sure that if because we have 50-50, um, if you're new, I just want to make sure that you are okay with those three basic steps. All right, so I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote. Let's go ahead and close this since I've got more than 50, actually 83%. All right, so, oops, the majority of you said yes, thank you. But for the rest, what I'm gonna do is cover them again really, really quick. All right, so if you notice when we created the case, I clicked on her name. So that's how I can access her contact profile. So really quick, the basic three steps are creating a contact, which is this, linking the members, which are the, spouse, children, parents, you just link them. Technically, you're creating a contact profile for them as well and selecting the type of relationship and then entering their corresponding data. And step three is where I created the case and I follow the instructions from the case wizard. It looked like this. All right, so now that we have the case created, um, let me see okay, if you guys have any questions, you can message me as well. Now that I have the case created, I probably need to send her a questionnaire if I don't have any specific information, or maybe I'm missing her history of addresses or anything. If I needed to send a questionnaire to this person, first of all, how do I know if I sent questionnaires or not? Have we, as a team, sent questionnaires to this person? Well, you can go to the contact profile, click on documents, and then click here on the left, questionnaires and forms. And this is where we need to wait a little bit because I've been using this same profile for more than 10 years. So you can imagine I've got a lot of questionnaires that I've sent. In the meantime, again, feel free to message me your questions or chat me. Yep, let's wait. There is a chat, or here we go. Yeah, so there's a chat or questions where you can message me. So here under the questionnaires and forms section, I can see what we have sent to the client. She has received this yesterday, the I-589, but she hasn't, oh, she sent it back, but we haven't yet accepted the form. Or for example, we have sent, trying to find a questionnaire that we have sent, or like this one, created a general information questionnaire back in September, and my client hasn't yet submitted. Let me see, what's the general information for individual client? Okay, so that means that I don't have to resend that one. I don't have to resend a questionnaire that she has access to. Let me delete this one so I can send it again. All right, so now I'm going to show you how we can send a questionnaire to a client. Let's go over that. It looks like I've received a questionnaire. Can you explain the alert that pop-ups when you click on the client profile? Is the task or documents missing? That's a customized alert. So what I did, I went to the admin portal under tools, types, click on global client or global case alert. Basically, and especially if you are a subscriber to billing, what you can do is, let's say I want to create an alert for every time that we have or we open a case. If that case has, or maybe that client, let's do it under, okay, global client alert. All right, so I'm going to create or add an alert, and I'm going to say every time that a client has an invoice that's overdue, give me a pop-up window, an alert. let's look at yeah, this is like the case. Maybe you want to have like a global alert, not necessarily advanced, but just like a basic info pop-up window that says, dear, staff, make sure that you announce that we close next week or some, like any alert so that your team, every time that they open a case, or in this case, let me show you, if I open a contact profile, it's gonna give me that alert because she has overdue invoices. This one, the blue one, the reason why it's blue is because I manually created it. It wasn't an alert that you can create as an administrator. And so this one you cannot delete, the global one, but the blue one you can. I put remind that she owes the birth certificate. So if I was a paralegal and let's say Valeria, the client, gives me her birth certificate, I can delete it. I can delete the alert and maybe even add another alert myself and it's just say like success, birth certificate, oops, is scanned and uploaded. I don't know. So now when you, the attorney, maybe you work from a different location and you are not aware that the receptionist got the birth certificate. Well, next time that you open that profile, you see that pop-up window that gives you that alert and the global alert. But anyways, that's the pop-up window. All of you have access to this feature. It's not something that you have to pay extra for. Just go into your admin and then click on that types section and then schedule those alerts. How can we access documents? You can access the documents from both the contact and the case profile. If I go to the contact profile on the right hand side, I can see the documents checklist, or not checklist, but like the folders. I can see passports, I-94s, visas, or even technically any document. You can customize this drop-down menu. For example, I'm gonna track my RFEs or my 797s or EAD. So you just select the type of document, enter the expiration date, um, or any details, description, and then you can even upload, of course, the actual file. So you click here, file location, and then it might be in your computer or your Dropbox account. I think your account has cloud storage, so you guys probably have access to connect directly to your OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and in case you have those, if you have the RFE saved in your Dropbox, you can connect directly to that and basically just add the link that will take you to the Dropbox. But yeah, this is where you can access the documents at the contact level, and if you create a case, click on documents, and this is where you see the checklist. So you could select these and share with your clients so that they can upload their own documents. Nowadays, I always say that most people have a smartphone. Trust me, I think if you spend 5 minutes with your clients during the consultation explaining them how easy it is to use your smartphone to upload, take a good picture of their documents and upload instead of having to drive to your office and deliver these in person. I get it. Not everyone is tech savvy, but if they are, just teach them really quick how can they log in into their client portal, or maybe you just send them a text message with a link. As long as they log in and they see that checklist, they can upload these documents themselves. So just so you guys know, this is the client portal and your clients can see share documents. Either you can share a document with them or you can share a checklist. So they can upload a bunch of documents at the same time. And it's actually a lot easier for you guys because then as long as your clients upload these files, you're going to see the attachment here. So technically you could run a report and say, show me how many clients or which cases are pending to have every documentation, and also or which documents are still pending because there won't be an attachment, right, linked to that requirement. So I hope that helps. Thank you for sending your questions. I'm going to continue. I do want to show you how to send the questionnaire. If I have the client and my client doesn't have an email address, it's okay. I don't need an email address. I could get away with just sending a text message. So make sure you have the cell phone. Now, you must be subscribed to the text message feature. If not, people sometimes use WhatsApp. So if you have WhatsApp web open on your browser, you could also do that. Let me show you. We're going to click on create questionnaire, and I'm going to say send it to Valeria. Now, again, if your clients are not tech savvy and they rather, believe it or not, I think I'm old school. I'd rather just write it down or like, so you could print it. So you can go to print and view, select the questionnaire, for example, initial intake form or asylum questionnaire, like, so you can have your own questionnaires. Open that and you can even translate. Maybe I want to translate this to Spanish. So this is a lot easier, again, than using the Word document or PDF that you created. Number one, it's not dynamic. And so you really cannot, like translate or in these questionnaires, if you use our technology, the benefit, like I said, is that if they do complete electronically, all you need to do is accept and the data auto-populates. You can use the system as a CRM to track marketing information, like how did you hear about us? Are you tech savvy? Just get to know your clients more and provide a better service. Do you speak Spanish or those questions. All right, so if I needed a print in Spanish, I can just click here, print. And when the client brings the paper back, I can use the alternate view and then just enter the data myself. But what I want to show you is not printing it, but sending it to the client. When you click send questionnaire to this client, if it's a new client, you're going to see a step that says create account. So that's where you enter. Actually, let's see if we can delete her. Let me delete this and show you how it looks like. I'm going to say send it to Valeria. All right, so this is where you're going to see. We used to have it before where it was just email. Our developers enhanced this feature where you can just create an account using a cell phone, not necessarily an email. Also, the username could be something like her nickname, and the password could be something like 1234, something simple. Trust me, the easier you can do it for your clients, the better for you. So let's go save. Now, I don't want to necessarily send a username and password, so I'm just gonna cancel, but I do want to send her the link. It's called passwordless because it doesn't require a password. And maybe my client prefers Spanish, so I'm gonna send it in Spanish, and I'm gonna pick the type of process. Remember, this is customizable. It's actually better for you to customize it because you can just click and go. And then, of course, it gives you the questionnaires that are related to that matter. I'm going to choose. I could preview too, and I'm going to save. Now, clients, for security reasons, they have to verify their identity. Well, they're going to get a message confirming, which is called two-step authentication. And that message is going to be in Spanish. Now, I need to notify the client. It could be via SMS, via email, or I can copy the link to the clipboard and paste it somewhere else. That's why I was telling you that if you have WhatsApp open on a separate tab, you could also click here to copy the link and paste it in WhatsApp. Send them a WhatsApp and they can click on the link. If you are subscribed to SMS, then you can send them a text message from here, and you could also update the message. Just keep the URL intact. And if you need to send an email, of course, make sure that you have that email and that you copy this link and paste it here. Because we're not asking them to log in into the client portal, we're just asking them to please click on that link and fill out the questionnaire and send it back to us. All right, so this is also something new. Now you can set up reminders once a day, once every 3 days, and once a week. I think a client told me was it yesterday? I think she said once every 5 minutes. um, as long as they comply and send it back to you, right? So how do you want to deliver this? Via email, text message, or both? And do you want to stop sending reminders? Probably yes. Maybe how about after 3 or 4 weeks, stop sending, especially it's going to be Thanksgiving. Come on. So stop sending them reminders. If they haven't responded to that questionnaire, they're not going to do it after Thanksgiving. All right, so we're going to close that. Now my client has that questionnaire. So when she logs in into her portal, or when she accesses that link via text message or via email, she's going to see the questionnaire. I sent it in Spanish. She's going to see the data that I have already captured, so she doesn't have to start from scratch. So which is also another benefit, because if you have a returning client, you don't want to send them another PDF or a Word document, so they have to provide you with the same information they already gave you a couple of years ago, right? So in this case, well, everything's the same. How did you hear about us? Google. I mean, if I wanted to update something, for example, the US resident address, let's say that's, I'll just say Test Avenue and apartment 123, and then the zip code 12345. All right, so I'm just going to make up a couple of modifications and send it back to my attorney. Whenever a client sends a questionnaire back, you guys get an email from us. And the benefit of using our technology compared to our competitors is that we do protect your data. Your clients are not going to access that questionnaire at any time unless you return it or send it back. And also on your end, let's take a look. When you log in into your caseworker portal, you see an indicator on the top right corner where it says questionnaires and forms. If I click that icon, I can see the name of the client, I can see the questionnaire or form, and I can see the dates. So I'm going to open that questionnaire and we highlight the changes. So it's actually a lot easier for you and your staff to just glance and say, okay, this has been modified. Let me compare. If I click on the field, we can tell what was there before. So at this point, I either accept or reject the changes. I can accept, and by accepting the changes, I am overriding or updating her profile. Let's take a look. I'm gonna access her addresses, and yes, it's correct. Now the profile has the correct information and it will transfer to the forms. Let me know if you have any questions on how to use the questionnaires or how to use the alternate view. I do want to show you guys how to populate forms. Okay, so remember, I mentioned that when you create a case, if you click on the name of the person, it opens her profile and then you can go back and forth. That way, when you open a form, if there's anything that you need to modify or update or change or enter, then you can easily just switch back, do it where you have to do it. It's better to do it in the right place because, well, in Spanish, it's just saying that el flojo trabaja doble, which means that if you're lazy, you're going to work twice. You're going to do it twice. And if you think about it, it makes sense. If I am typing directly on the form, because maybe not lazy, because I'm in a rush and, I just need to get it done. What happens is I'm going to go back now into the I-45 or later the DS-160 or N-400. I'm going to have to keep typing the same information again. So the best approach is if I see something's wrong here, well, let me switch, change it in the database. Remember the brain of the system where the data comes from. Just do it one time here and then come back and refresh. For example, let's say, and this is the I-130. By the way, notice that it says on the left, petitioner info goes here. This is what I was telling you earlier. Page 5 says alien. That's why I picked alien, not beneficiary. All right, so let's say that I realize her date of birth is incorrect. Well, if I switch tabs and then change it here, and I'm going to, oops, didn't add I'm going to save my changes, go back to the form and refresh. How do you refresh the data or the form? By using the select party button. I'm going to select to replace Valeria. I'm not replacing with someone else's data. It's just replacing the old data with the new data. So now the correct date of birth is here. And moving forward, all the forms will have the correct data. Next, on the top, you'll see tools. Let's go over the tools. This icon is for the sticky notes. You can add post-its and you can customize the size. Oops, went too fast. And you don't necessarily have to print these. When you are ready to print the form, you can uncheck the option to print without the sticky notes. I highly, highly recommend that you guys use these sticky notes, especially if you plan on sending the form to your clients. You can add a large post-it on the front page so that they can see your observations or instructions, and there's no excuse. Like, I didn't know I was supposed to do this, so no excuse. So what else? You could also click on this keyboard. Click on the keyboard, move your mouse wherever you want to add extra text, and then just click and type. You can drag and drop it and position the text anywhere you want. Attorneys use it instead of handwriting on the form. They just type as if it was a typewriter machine. Here we go. What else? The address sometimes doesn't fit. Let's say that we have a long address. Well, the system is developed to shrink it for you. It will shrink or reduce the size of the font as much as possible. It has to be legible. So if you exceed the number of characters, it creates the addendum automatically for you. If you want, you can also manually change it by clicking on the A and say, for example, I want a different type of font, maybe, you know, different spacing. So you can customize it. And this is where a lot of attorneys also use the type anywhere so they can squeeze instead of creating an addendum. So it's up to you, but know that the system creates the addendum automatically anyways. Let me see. Okay, so speaking of addendum, on the last page where you need to enter the additional info, there's going to be a red button. Click there. What happened? Okay, click there and you're gonna, sorry, they're messaging me. What's going on? Okay, you're gonna see the additional entries. So this is where you can say, well, I'm not gonna transfer all, maybe just the last 5 years. I also want to just transfer these or not these. So anyway, so click save and the system auto-populates the obviously the information with the corresponding page part item numbers. So this is going to save you so much time. Now, if you need to make corrections or changes, that's why you go into the profile and change it here instead of changing every single form. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Lastly, about the forms, I also want you to know that if you click on this icon, it looks like a magic one. So form data edit. And you can replace, like find this and replace with this. So if I want to replace blank spaces with NA or none, I'll say NA, click find, sorry, replace. It finds all the blank spaces and it enters an NA. All right, I'm gonna save this and close. Let me know if you have any questions about the forms. Any questions at this point, anyways, in general? Okay, thank you so much for voting. I'll just wait until I get 50% and then get moving. All right. So you know you may continue. For those that have to type your question, I'll keep an eye. Um, we have, just so you know, covered these and some of these. So I've mentioned that you probably need to send the form to your client. Well, if you select the form and then click where it says email forms as editable HTML, that's if you want them to make changes. Or you can send it to them as a read-only PDF. Remember, if you don't do the domain authentication, you're not going to be able to send from your email, even if you have Gmail, Yahoo, or you have to authenticate your domain. But as a workaround, you can also send it from info@eimmigration.com. The problem is that if your clients need to reply back, they won't be able to do that. All right. Now that I'm going to select this option because I want to send it for them to edit the form. So this is where I tell them, please log in into your portal. I send it to my client. And I could also change the message template. So instead of using my default message, I probably have something with my logo and maybe this one, oops, where it populates my client's name. And of course, I'll just change this to I've sent you like a form. I don't know. And you send that email to your client, and now she has access to the form. Let's refresh. Just the same way that we send the questionnaire, now she has access to the actual form. And I like this because your client, no excuse, your client can see the progress, right? They see that you've, worked on the form, that you have a couple of questions, is this correct? Yes, date of birth. Uh, my caps is on. Yes, date of birth is correct. But yeah, they can send it back to you. If they make any changes, for example, I notice that this is not 156, but 146. And then I send it back. Again, you get an email from Cerenade, you log in into eImmigration, and that's when you access your inbox. You can see the form and you can open it. We're not going to populate that information into her database. So, but we highlight it so you can see it. I can click and see, okay, I had 156 and she's saying that her mailing address is 146. What I suggest you do is that you copy and paste it where it belongs. So I would just go into my client's profile, look at the mailing address, and then just fix it. That's it. So moving forward, all the forms have the correct address. So again, accepted, and now your form is updated. We do have electronic signature included, so just so you know, you could have them sign electronically. How can we access all the forms we've sent? Go to the contact, click on documents, click on questionnaires and forms. This is where you can see them for each client. Or you can run a report, I think, as a custom report if you want it more like, general. Logs. All right, logs are, it's actually loading. Logs or notes or comments are available in both the case window and the contact window. Um, Sorry, it's actually taking long. Oh, here we go. So here's, just so you know, here's where you can see the forms you've sent. It tells you when you create it. Let me see. I sent this one October 6th. They haven't replied back. A couple of, like this one, the 589, I did get it back, but I haven't accepted the form that's why you can still see it. Anyway, so logs. You can add a note or comment, and you can customize the type of category or type of note. For example, this is related to RFE. We've got an important update, or we have a team in Colombia and they want me to pay attention to whatever, so they created a note under Equipo Colombia Importante. So that way I know that every time I run a report that for any comments or notes for my team in Colombia, then it's easier for me to find it compared to if we all create notes under general. It's going to be harder to find whatever really matters. So if you want to customize these type of categories or note types, it's under the admin where it says types, and then you'll see comment types. This is where you can add, remove, update. You can also even drag and drop and say, okay, I want that option to be all the way up, and I also want my RFE related over here. And if they want me to pay attention to anything in general, I want them to say Atención Sulayor. So, I mean, these are customizable. Okay, so let's refresh and try to add a note or log and look at the type of, see, and now the Colombia team, category is all the way up. I'm going to use that one and say, atención, cliente llamó para cancelar contrato. I don't know. Client called to cancel contract. I can share with the client if needed. I can keep it internal, but save and close. And now I have a type of note, the actual note, the date, the timestamp, and who updated that. All right. So those are your case notes. Technically, if you also go to logs here under the contact level, you can scroll down and see your case notes, regardless of where you created the note. For example, here, let me look at just 10 contact logs. If I scroll down, I can click here to show my case comments. And it's going to tell me the case number, the type of note, and the actual note, etc. These are great. Instead of using your emails or post-its, or I don't know what you guys use, but take advantage of this because look, if I say Valeria, my client mentioned something about court hearing. Give me any notes that we have typed with that word, court related, or any notes, or this is a text message about a test court date. So trust me, it's a lot easier to find stuff when you have it organized, and we want to help you organize it so that you work more efficiently. All right, so gathering and storing documents. We have talked about that, so I'm going to skip it, but it's over here, documents, or at the case level, also documents. The way you customize the checklist is over here under the administrator portal. Click on case processes so that you can customize the checklist. For example, for my asylum case, these are the documents that we need. Okay. All right, next, letter templates. Letter templates also are available here in the admin. Click on letter templates. You probably already have like documents in your Word or Outlook account. And instead of using that, you can just copy paste them into eIMMIGRATION and then use the tags so that they auto populate. For example, here, I want my logo centered. I want the first name, and this is a Spanish version of a new questionnaire. I can say nuevo cuestionario forma. Le hemos enviado nuevos cuestionarios o una nueva forma. So I don't have to keep changing this for every single client because the system is going to auto-populate the first name or the date or the address or the case number. And so the letter templates use these tags that you can access from here, the tag helper. Okay. Document assembly. Let's talk about that. When you have the forms ready and you've gathered the evidence, let me open a case that has actual files that I can use. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. I've created a case. We worked with the forms. We have the evidence and we have the letter templates as well. Maybe I want to add one from my predefined list so I can just pick and add. So it's actually a lot easier than having to, type it myself like a cover letter or anything that important that I need to use. And then when you create your package, click on document assembly. This is where you select new, enter the name of the case. So let's say adjustment of status. And I'm going to pick the forms, move them over. I'm going to pick the documents, the evidence, move them over, and then the letters, the cover letters, I move them over with that blue bar in the middle. Now that I have everything that I need, I drag and drop and say, okay, my document goes here. My cover letter goes here. My evidence goes here. And this form goes here. So you got it. And now your table of contents, unless you want to add another page. But you can create a table of contents with all the numbers, like the page numbers, update accordingly, and then click save. Now, if you want to email that package, that's when you add your footer captioning, like, at the bottom, it's going to say AOS, and we automatically number them every single page with AOS or and again, I can use a lot of templates and email it to myself, my team as a read-only PDF, or I can also now download the whole package into my computer. Okay, I'm kind of rushing because it's already 10:52, but if you have any questions, please message me. All right, so reminders. To create a reminder, click on reminders, or you can also create a reminder at the contact profile. Same thing, reminders. And it goes the same thing as like the, right, the logs. Remember I told you that you can customize a type of notes? Well, you can also customize a type of reminders for both client or contact profiles. So I can be more specific, and this also helps your team to prioritize. If you just tell them you have a task or you have a follow-up, yeah, but what's the follow-up about? And compared to you need to prepare, the brief, or you need to check with client about biometric appointment details. So make sure that you customize the type of reminders so that it's a lot easier for your team to prioritize. You're gonna choose a category. When is that due? Let's say next week. Do you want to get an email reminder or send an email reminder via email, text message, or both? I say, let's say text message, SMS, send that maybe a few days before the due date. And the time is going to be at 10 a.m. Do not enter the completion date because it's not completed yet. Select who's responsible for that, biometrics appointment check. And then also, of course, the recipients, such as the client or any other paralegal. And I'm gonna choose my client so she gets that text message as well. And then the text message is gonna be, reminder, biometric appointment details. Blah, blah. Anyways, you get the idea. So every time that you create a reminder, these reminders populate in what we call the tickler. And the tickler is where you can see not only the reminders, but also expiration dates and process steps and even like billing, accounts receivable aging. So this is where you can track everything, pretty much everything about the law firm, not just for you, but you can show the data for all your caseworkers. So if I want to say, hey, what's going on in the next 5 days? Well, I can see what we need to do and the date, so I can prioritize. Maybe we need to process 50% down payment and send the receipt to client today, but creating a payment plan might be, or like sending the case for review might be more important. So I can focus on, or if I know that my paralegal is not going to be here next week, then I can, well, technically this is going to be Sunday. I can, take over. So these process steps also help you to work more efficiently because then you all are on the same page. These are the reminders. I can see the type of reminder and I can see who's responsible and when they're supposed to do it. All right, so I can see any past due or overdue. I've actually customized it where it shows the last 5 days and the next 15 days. And you can print it. Let me see. Oh, perfect. All right, we're on time. Let me know if you have any questions, please. You will have questions, especially if you're new. But don't worry, Cerenade offers an amazing support team. And I say this not because I work here, but honestly, we have even won awards for the technical support team. So we're very proud of that. When you guys call us or send us a message, we try to resolve that or investigate and then contact you again. But please contact us if you have questions or if you have anything technical difficulties. We're not going to be able to help you if you don't contact us. So you can call us, send us an email, even click on your technical support message where you can see that help icon. What if you have the client in front of you and you can't call us? So you can message us. You may also send your feedback to developers. Let us know how we can improve the system. We have a user's guide where you can learn tons of areas of the system. I feel like sometimes you guys are using just the tip of the iceberg. honestly, and the system can help you grow your practice. So take advantage of that. And we do these trainings for free Fridays at 10 a.m. If you cannot attend, you can always watch the videos. We have a podcast, a Facebook page for users to interact, and like I said, the YouTube channel. We even have a TikTok account. All right, questions and answers. What's the difference between SMS and messaging? Both are considered optional modules and they allow you to better communicate with your clients. SMS is for bidirectional text messaging, and messaging is also bidirectional but requires access to your portal. Like your client has to log in into the portal. This is why we say that this is more secure than sending an email because everything is encrypted. I put the links right here, so make sure you download this PowerPoint presentation and you can learn more about SMS and messaging. How can I use the batch upload? The batch upload is located over here on the left where it says tools, batch upload. Maybe your client dropped her folder with all the evidence, scan it, you scan it on behalf of her, drag and drop all the files at once. That's the batch upload. And then you can link it to the case or the client profile. And there is a limit per document, which is 100 megabytes. How to save time auto-populating cover letters or other documents with eIMMIGRATION. You can create your own letter templates from the admin, as I said, and use the tag helper to auto-populate. Let me see. All right, so these are sections of the system that you probably are not aware. You saw today how I can drag and drop, how you can customize your folders, the timekeeper module where you can track your time. We do offer translations for intake forms. If you have Office 365, you can even edit your documents simultaneously directly from eIMMIGRATION. Again, the tag helper is right here, requesting the documents, as I mentioned earlier, via just a passwordless link. If you have billing, you can set up automatic payments. Now, for this, you need to also have credit card processing, either through LawPay or PayPal. What else? Like you can share the documents. There's a filter in the client portal. So if I am the client and say, well, the attorney, maybe I'm the HR person. So if I log in into the client portal and say, for all of our employees, well, I'm going to filter, and it's right here. I'm going to filter just for Valeria. And I want to see just for this case specifically, the H-1B. And it's going to give me the documents related to that employee in that case. So this filter is amazing. Yeah, so these are like a did you know section where you can click and learn more. We talked about the case document assembly. Now you can download it. Did you know that we were the pioneer offering e-filable forms? So now if you are subscribed to e-filing, you can import data from the CBP website, I-94s and travel history. Again, trust me, there's a lot. If you are just using e-immigration for forms, you've been missing out. You can also share the process steps with clients. So if I was your client and you give me access to the status of the case, the progress, meaning what you've done, there's going to be a status here where I can click on, well, this is unknown because I haven't shared. Let me see if I can look at, so this is also something technically new. All right, let me refresh. Okay. Trying to find one so I can show you what I'm talking about. But here where it says status, there's going to be, I think I have an idea. Let's go back here and share that adjustment of status has these process steps. And of course, this is not a good example. Sorry about that. Let me, hopefully this asylum has a better, this is our testing site. So, all right, this is a good one. I'm going to share and I'm going to add Valeria so I can share with her because that's a contact profile that I'm So this actually could be a consulting attorney. Hey, I'm not going to pay a license for Valeria since she's a consulting attorney in China or whatever, and she just wants to know what's going on with the case. Well, here you go. I'm going to give you access and I'm going to share with Valeria. Now she can log in into her portal. Let me refresh. And she's going to see that status update right here. Mm, I see a question. As far as USCIS monitoring, are you guys able to notify us and the client when there's been an update? Well, we can notify you when the petition becomes current, but as far as like notifications, I'll show you right now what's available. Yes, you can click on the link and we, instead of having to go to the USCIS website, um, hold on, oh, you know what? I just noticed, I've learned something new myself. I've noticed that you can also search by the case number. So right here or not. Interesting. Maybe I didn't link. Ah, I know why. I wasn't logged in as Valeria. Duh. Okay. Sorry about that. Can I blame it on being Friday? Or, all right. So here's the case, and this is what I was trying to show you that your clients can click on that and see what's been completed or whatever you started or what's pending. Or so this is what I meant. And to answer your other question, this is how it works. If you have a case and you enter the receipt, you could also share with your client and she can click on her client portal as well. But go to documents, click on immigrant visas or notices, and again, if you are subscribed to Times Tracker, which I know you are, you're gonna get an email notification when the case becomes eligible for processing. But we don't keep emailing you when there's a new update to their case. But if you click on the link, then yes, you can see the update. And in fact, you can see it in both English or Spanish. And I really hope that it goes through because the other day they were having issues with their website, which is something that we cannot control. It might be the case today. Usually it loads really fast. But anyway, so when you click on the link, then you can see the status update. Yeah, there's something going on with their website right now. But just to give you an idea, it's going to be under the logs. If you copy to the logs, you can copy um, English or Spanish. I think I've done it for this case. Yeah, caso fue aprobado or case has been approved. So you can copy the status update into the logs. So if the client calls, you don't have to check again what the status is or any updates to the case. You all have access to that. The fact that, just go to the case, click on documents, enter the receipt, and then that way you guys can just click on the link and check the update. All right, so let's continue. We're almost done. Thank you so much. I know it's been 5 minutes past the hour. I try to put all the links right here for November and December. So click on the links to register. These are the topics that I'm going to be talking about next 2 months. It's almost over. What else? We have remember to subscribe and also join our podcast and connect with us. Just connect again if you have questions. We want to help. Please let us help your staff. We want to make sure you guys are satisfied with our services. And then, yeah, thank you so much for your time. Before you disconnect, um, let me know if your questions were addressed. There's going to be a survey. If you can please give me your feedback. We appreciate your participation with the survey as well. If you have to disconnect, thank you so much. And on behalf of Cerenade, have a great weekend. And if you haven't yet complied, remember for the domain authentication, contact us so that we can assist you, but you guys have to do it. All right. Um, I'm getting not really. I'll contact your office. Yeah. So if I did not get to your question or I didn't answer your question, contact our office also. We got a 50-50. All right. So again, on behalf of Serenade, thank you so much for joining us today and have a great weekend. Don't forget to download the PowerPoint presentation because it has these useful links that you can click on and you can always review the topics later on. And also, we have the video available in our YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day. Bye bye.